Welcome, Courtney, and thank you for joining us on Afrovibe.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we would have had an initial conversation where you would have introduced me to some aspects of Afrohouse music that I've never heard of before, and since then I couldn't get enough of it. So my first question to you is, how would you describe Afrohouse music to someone who would have never heard about the genre before?
Um, like when it first caught me, it was rhythmic, a lot of energy, soulful, a lot of drums, and it just captivates you. That's what I would describe to people. You know, the first time you hear it, you can't resist. It just grabs you.
Right. So, oftentimes we hear the difference between, or not a difference, but more so people using the terms tribal house and soulful house interchangeably. Is there a difference between tribal house and soulful house? Does it relate to Afro house? Is there like a misconception there?
Yes, that's a big misconception. Soulful house is very mellow, a lot of chords. It's very soft, whereas tribal house is somewhat aggressive with a lot of drums, similar to some style of form of Afro session. So if you pretty much take both of them and merge them together, you take the chords from Soulful House and the drums from Tribal House and slow the tempo down or whatever, you kind of get somewhat Afro House, if that
Right,
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah, it does. And then there are also some genres in Afro house, such as Angolan house, South African house, piano. Can you tell us a little bit more about those subgenres?
Well, I'm a piano. I caught on to it about three years ago, and there's a genre called gqom. So it was like the rival to gqom. So when I first hear it, it's a mixture of jazz, hip hop, and soulful deep house combined together to create the Amapiano sound.
Which is one of my personal favorites.
And
Piano.
yeah, me too. Right now, it's one of my favorite genres to play out of the whole subgenre of Afro house.
Okay, so you would have played as a performance club DJ at a number of venues globally. Do you think Afro House can be the next electronic dance music genre to rule nightclubs?
I think it's getting there. It's about probably 80% there, but you know the problem is that some people don't give it its rightful home. So a lot of people listen to Afro house and don't know they're listening to Afro house. If you get what I mean.
Right. So what do you think they're listening to if maybe like some version of Afro beats mixed with house music?
Yes, and people on the misconception that Afrobeat is Afro house. So a lot of times when I do events and I said Afro house, they think it's Afrobeat. So now I have to break it down and say no, it's a form of house music derived from Africa. So you know, it's not the same thing.
Okay. So, being on the forefront of the Afro House scene in Miami, you've launched your own event, Afro Sessions, and I see you're probably wearing your T-shirts. Can you tell us more about Afro Sessions? When did it start? What's it about? And where do you see it going?
Afro Session was started about 3 years ago with a friend at uh, was it a cafe restaurant that a friend of mine was part owner of, and he knew that I played Afro House, and the name came up right there and then, Afro Session. So as it's growing, the parties I try to create and change the mindsets of people of how they think about Africa and its music, letting them know that so many different types of music coming out of Africa, not just Afrobeat or Guam, or Afro House itself, but a whole subgenre under Afro House. So my parties are geared towards mixology, where we create drinks with the names of African countries, and kind of mix the music in a nice atmosphere together. As far as where I see Afro Session going, I want to take it worldwide in a moving form, one day it's here in Jamaica or it's in Miami, and then move it to Trinidad, and then Bali, then Thailand, and some parts of Africa. Just move it around and create this whole big worldwide movement of Afro session. So
The
that's my goal.
reception been like? So, what has the reception been like in Florida so far in terms of your events? So far
Oh,
in terms of your
absolutely
events.
great.
Okay.
Absolutely great. Yes, because what I bring is somewhat different, and people look forward to it every week, actually.
Yeah. Oh, every week.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Every week I do it right now in my backyard. So, it's a group of people who just come hang out. And we talk about different topics surrounding Africa, the music. Now we're introducing food, so where we merge Caribbean cuisine with African cuisine
Oh, that's
as well.
fantastic. So, what is on the horizon for you, ICEDOWN Music? Because I know that you also go by the performance name ICEDOWN Music. What do you see on the horizon for ICEDOWN Music slash Afro Sessions? But besides moving it around to different cities, what do you have coming up?
I'm working on the label right now, IceDown Music Group, where I'm trying to create more. I'm actually working on an EP with my other partner, who we do DJ together in Afro Sessions, and we also run Afro Sessions together. So we are working on our Amma Piano EP currently, and then try to get other artists involved and build a label right there for IceDown Music Group. So that's
Right.
that's the movement right now. Yeah.
And you would have worked with some pretty big names in the industry, right? Like, and we've mentioned some just before bringing you on. So, how about you tell us just a little bit more about what that was like?
What that's like, because I still do it. My main job is an audio engineer, so I tour with international artists such as Pharrell Williams, Fantasia, Cardi B, Brian McKnight, just to name a few. But working with these artists, it's really great. But I want to focus more on just my African roots
Right.
and bring that part of Africa to this side of the world. The music, the culture, the food, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay, sounds good. So, where can we find some of your music, Courtney? Some of your Afro house mixes that if anybody wants to do a little more research on Afro house and Afro sessions, how can they find your music? How can they how can
Currently, we have a YouTube channel, Afro Sessions at YouTube, and also Icedome Music at YouTube. We have Icedome Music also on SoundCloud and Mixcloud as well.
So I'm extremely happy that you could be a part of this. This is just only our second episode, and we see the podcast growing into something a lot bigger than it is now. And yeah, and we hope you can come to Afro Sessions, come to TNT with one of your Afro Session events. I think that'll be great, and I think our viewers would love to attend. Post pandemic.
Yeah,
Courtney.
absolutely.
So Courtney, this has been truly insightful and inspiring, and again, so we just want to thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me again.